Welcome again. I'm the motherfucking Batman, David John Lincoln, aka the Savage Bat, with very special guest Purple Valkyrie. Welcome.
Hello there. Thank you for having me. This is fantastic.
Yeah, I've been, trying to sort this stream out with you for a while now, and I keep messing up and stuff. Timing's terrible.
Oh, no, not at all. I've been looking forward to doing this. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, it's great. And your channel was at Rise and Shine with Purple Valkyrie. That's great. I've been keeping an eye on that, um, and your collaborations with Abdul as well.
Yes, absolutely. Having a fantastic time getting to do some crazy streams of Sil. Always a blast when we get together. But you're
Yeah,
doing incredibly well as well. I've been checking out all of your live streams. You are absolutely crushing it at the moment.
yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I was just mainly sort of doing episodes for now, and then once I get to um, a certain amount of subscribers or whatever, I'm going to start doing live streams properly
Hmm.
soon with multiple guests and things like that from the fandom. Um, and there'll be all sorts of names you'll recognise.
The usual suspects, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. The Reservoir Dogs.
But what a fantastic group we've got. We really do have a wonderful, and I know it's cliche to call it, but a community.
It is. Yeah,
Everybody
it is.
supports each other. Everybody goes on each other's channels.
That's
It's
right.
so good to see.
It is amazing to be a part of it, and I've been planning on doing YouTube for years since before, like Batman versus Superman came out, and life just got in the way, and one thing or another. I finally
Hmm.
got round to it. It's like yes, and I've been welcomed with open arms, by the Snyder community because I've been doing it for a long time on Facebook and Twitter and stuff, but this is all new to me.
Yes, well, just kind of listening to you on different streams and watching the shows that you've done previously, you can tell that you have a deep level of knowledge, and you've obviously been a fan for a long time.
Yeah, it's been great, and couldn't ask for more really with people, like yourself and Seal and Mikey and Zodwriter and all that, and just everyone.
Mhm.
The Bat I was on the Bat channel the other day. That was great fun.
Oh, they're
Uh,
great guys, aren't they?
yeah, with Trey and Corey and his wife as well. Yeah, she's lovely. But yeah, we was going to talk a little bit about the connection starting with Man of Steel because I've really confused as a DC fan watching the sort of hate for Zack Snyder's trilogy from when it started. Um, and over the years, it's been such great fun looking up the connections to the comics and the Easter eggs and all sorts of stuff like that. And I just don't understand why people don't see it or
Mhm.
make these connections because even Zach himself has said there's stuff in all three of them movies that people still haven't noticed yet.
Exactly, yeah, and Man of Steel gets a lot of criticism. People think that it was actually a flop, but it was a
Yeah,
commercial success.
yeah,
People really did enjoy this film, even people who weren't maybe fans of Zack Snyder themselves, but
yeah,
they love the character Superman, and
yeah.
I actually liked the film. I thought it was a pretty good film.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's top tier, and it's aged really well as well. I was just talking about this recently. I've said it in the past. The CGI, for instance, is better than some movies now.
Hmm.
Like General Zod and things like that.
Yes. Do you think also in part it's down to the cast? Because I think other than
Yeah,
obviously the late great Christopher Reeves, you couldn't ask for a better Superman than Henry
yeah,
Cavill.
yeah, definitely. He's born for the role. You know, same with Ben Affleck.
Hmm.
They're like molded. It was Zach sort of knows that he's picked them for that reason. And the same with Gal Gadot really. It's well, all of the characters, but the casting there is amazing. Jonathan Kent, for instance, in Man of Steel,
Yes, Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner, yeah, and
Yes.
he'd been vanished for years before that. He was in a few things, but you know, he wasn't sort of what, you know, when he was really famous in the 90s and stuff like that. And then he sort of come back in that role, and it was like, wow, Kevin Costner's like back and amazing. You know, I know people, because it's, you know, Kevin Costner's one way or the other. People like him or don't like him.
Yes, I like Kevin Costner, but he's been in
Yeah,
a lot of, I guess it's fair to say, cheesy films,
yeah,
perhaps. So
yeah,
that kind of took the shine off him. But I think he's a good actor, and
yeah,
I liked him as the role. But this had a big cast, if I remember correctly, because we had Amy
yeah,
Adams,
yeah,
Lawrence Fishburne, I think was in it, and Russell
yeah,
Crowe, obviously. But
yeah.
Michael Shannon, I thought was brilliant as Zod.
Yeah. Well, I'd been sort of following him a little bit before that, you know, with his sort of, you know, roles and stuff. And yeah, that was a bit of a shocker. Uh, he was great in that Iceman, you know, but the true story about the killer and things like that. I love that was late.
Yes.
That was later on, I think. But you know, just as an example.
I've never actually seen that film, but I've heard it was good. I've had it recommended to me, so I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. But I love the kind of twisted sort of thriller films.
Yeah, yeah. It's not normally my type of thing, but particularly that one was really good. And he's been great in a few other roles. He's got just a certain look about him. But yeah, and you know, like for instance, the shots in Man of Steel, um, you know, it's ripped straight out of the comic, and the references to, you know, the source material, you know, I think people have sort of missed some of that. I think,
Yes, the look of Metropolis looked great in Man of Steel, especially if
yeah,
you saw it in IMAX. It
yeah,
really popped. It elevated it off the screen.
yeah,
And
that's
as you
right.
say, the CGI still holds up. I think it got a lot of hate that it didn't really deserve.
No, definitely not, definitely not. And I mean, well, you know, Batman versus Superman was, you know, even worse than that. That was, you know, it's a great movie as well, but received so much criticism. But it's great though, because now everyone's saying, "Oh, you know," admitting that they was wrong about it and gave it a second chance. They like it now.
Do you think it perhaps because they were a lot darker than what people were used to? I mean, we used to have the dark Batman films. I would say
Yeah,
the Tim Burton ones were quite dark, but very stylized. And
yeah,
then we had obviously Christopher Nolan's
yeah,
trilogy. And then obviously a lot of people are very familiar with the Marvel, the MCU, which I would argue is it's more light-hearted, I think, even though there are some serious films. But
yeah,
these ones were a lot more kind of grounded, even though they are obviously superheroes.
yeah, yeah. It is, you know. But like you said, like sort of '89 had a bit of that in it, and so did the Nolan trilogy. So I don't know where that kind of, you know, rubbed people up the wrong way. I know it was like Superman's first sort of proper return. I know you had Superman Returns, but that was just a kind of continuation of the original movies, really. You know, it was just they changed the actor. You know,
Yes, this I would say it was a whole new relaunch for the DC characters, and I think it worked well. I think they were wise to not try to copy or emulate too closely what Marvel did, even though they wanted this shared universe, which makes sense.
yeah,
But for them to do pretty much their own films and to do things their own way, I think in the end really did pan out for them,
yeah,
especially when we got the Zack Snyder's actual cut of the film.
yeah. Well, it all made sense in the end. You know, and of course, like the big fans of Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, you know, knew that was what was supposed to be coming. You know, because it's just, you know, we just know about it and the, you know, the production and stuff of it, and it was, you know, so glad to see it actually completed. Well, not completed, but made sort of like Batman's redemption arc in Batman versus Superman makes sense to the general audience. They were like, "Oh, right, so that's what he was doing." You know, he had to go through that process of being evil and losing the plot, and then coming back. You know, it's kind of obvious stuff, but sometimes it just people just don't see it.
Yes, yes, and I am so glad, just for the fans, that we did eventually get Zack Snyder's Justice League, because
Yeah.
it's what people wanted, and I was very pleased that eventually it was released, and people were kind of vindicated, because for the longest time they said that it didn't exist. If you
Yeah.
remember, they denied it
Over
was
and
ever a
over
thing.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Multiple sites, really had it in for Zack's films, and the fans as well. Big sort of pages like sort of Collider and Screen Rant and things like that. And it was all unnecessary, and a lot of them, like Rotten Tomatoes, for instance, doing a bit of damage control. Have released like 2 or 3 of sort of sorry like posts.
Uh-huh.
So we was wrong.
Kind of walking it back a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'll find that's bullshit. Your fucking apology is like 8 years too late. Do you know what I mean? The reason we had to,
Thanks, but you were wrong. Yes.
yeah. But the reason we had to, fight for these, things, like the Batman versus Superman Facebook Twitter wars and release the Snyder Cut was because, the media and things were, had it in for Zack and the movies.
Yes.
And which made the studios think, oh, we better change this and try and do what Marvel wants to do.
Exactly. The external, it was almost sabotage. They
It
lost
was,
faith in somebody who does do action very well. Now, whether
Yeah.
you are a massive fan of his previous work, I actually loved 300. I thought that's one of the best comic book adaptations I've ever
Yeah.
seen. And I'm one of the 6 people on the planet that actually quite like Sucker Punch. I didn't think it was
Yeah.
a terrible film.
No, I like it. It's kind of sort of like almost a music video, trippy music video is the best way I can describe it. I do often watch it, because I like to repeat watch things. But 300, that put Zack on the map, Dawn of the Dead was great, but
Yes.
300 was the one that done him, and then Watchmen, of course.
Yes, it
What
seems
did you think?
Watchmen did a little bit of damage. I liked it,
Yeah.
and I can understand why the ending got changed. If there was
Yeah.
ever a Watchmen cut that he did with the ending from the comic book,
With the
I would
octopus.
love to see that. Exactly, yes,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we had it in the TV show.
Yeah. We got there eventually. But I didn't even mind about that really, because I was a fan of Watchmen. It was it's one of those books that it's like Killing Joke and The Dark Knight Returns. If you know comic books, it's highly likely you've read that. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, it's kind of a staple for people's collections.
It is.
So,
It is.
yeah.
It's like a basic, like if it's one of those books. Yeah, but I didn't mind that really. And I thought that it was, it was almost like like a sort of bad way of describing it. Well, those sort of children's books where you listen to the cassette at the same time. It was almost like you could really read the comic while you was watching it somehow. I don't know. It was so it really felt like this is what the comic would look like if it was on screen. I
Visually,
don't know.
that's one of Zack Snyder's strengths, I find, and you can
Yeah.
see it, especially in 300. You can take a still from the film, put it up
Yeah.
against one of the panels from the comic, and
That's right.
and
Frame
they're
for frame.
frame for frame exactly. Especially where they're driving towards the cliff, and they kick them off.
That's right, yeah.
Such a good shot.
Yeah, and that was originally what kind of caught my eye with Zack Snyder was the fact that 300 was Frank Miller. Before Watchmen and Man of Steel. I thought, oh right, and then of course when we got the announcement that he was going to direct the next Superman movie, I thought, is that the guy that done Frank Miller? Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then hold on a minute, if he could do an amazing job of this, and it's become sort of a part of his nature with the filming. He's watched 300, Watchmen, the DCEU. It's all legendary comic book stuff.
Yes, he does have a great eye for the comic books, and
Yeah,
we were talking about Man of Steel, and some of the things that were praised for it were the action sequences, the
yeah,
cinematography, and the
that's right.
score by Hans
Yeah,
Zimmer. All of these
yeah,
things
it's
came
amazing.
together.
Yeah, yeah. The Hans Zimmer score still to this day, people are posting videos of that as their favourite soundtrack and stuff like that. But yeah,
Are you a fan of soundtracks? Just to slightly deviate, because
yeah.
I
No,
love
that's a
film
good that's a
soundtracks.
good subject, right? I'm a total weirdo. I listen to movie soundtracks more than I do kind of normal music, if you like.
I do, especially on vinyl. There's something about a soundtrack on
I'm
vinyl that
I've
works.
ordered a record player. I'm going to start a collection of vinyl. So
Nice.
it's my next on my stage, and the main reason was sort of Zack's movies. The sort of special edition vinyls. I thought they really caught my eye. I thought that'd be a great thing to whack on. But
Oh, yes.
I'm constantly. I just put Blade Runner and Interstellar and things like that on, and just to
John
relax.
John Carpenter's are great.
Oh, the John Carpenter, I can do the
Yes.
whole way through without skipping a track. I love it. I'm a huge fan of his, films and music.
Absolutely, and one that I would really recommend. I don't know if you've seen the film, but the soundtrack for The Northman is also
Oh right,
spectacular.
it's just the new Northman.
This is the new Northman, yeah, the one that was
Yeah,
just at cinemas. Yeah,
yeah, I haven't seen that. Oh
fantastic.
right,
Yeah.
oh brilliant. I'll have to check that out then, because yeah, that's definitely something. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Absolutely nuts.
I'm guessing if you're a fan of Hans Zimmer, you're also a fan of oh, his name's just gone right, skated right out of my head.
Tom
Uh,
Hunkenberg,
yes,
Junkie
yes,
XL. Yeah,
yes.
yeah, he's great, and yeah, I'd really like to get that Zack Snyder's Justice League box set vinyl as well.
Yes,
It's
and
it's quite pricey, but that would be worth it, I think.
anything by John Williams as well, obviously.
Yeah, well, you can't go wrong with John Williams. He was um, he was just involved with the new, the Obi-Wan show as well, a little bit.
Yes, and that's one of the few things that I do actually like about this show. I do like the music for quite a lot of these Disney shows. They
Yeah,
they do they do they are still top notch.
yeah, yeah. But like on to Batman versus Superman, because that's personally this is a it's, polarizing movie, and but that is without a doubt my favourite Zack Snyder movie, just because it was so outrageously different and had so much deep, meaningful sort of stuff going on in it. What did you think about that, and the connections to the comics? I mean, there's hundreds.
I liked it, and I thought they again it's a darker take on the characters, but I thought it worked really well, and especially they took obviously a lot of inspiration from The Dark Knight Returns. Again,
Yeah,
Frank Miller, who
top
Zach
top
is obviously
five.
a fan of,
Yeah,
but yeah, fantastic cast. I mean, you talked about Ben Affleck being a fantastic Batman slash
yeah,
Bruce Wayne, and I absolutely agree. He
yeah,
he really brought this character to life, and especially the way he bulked up. This is one of the biggest Batman
yeah,
that we've seen.
yeah. Well, he's like nearly 6'4". Ben Affleck, just under, I think. Yeah, he's a big guy, but you see the shots, over the years of the comics compared to Ben Affleck, and the animated series as well. Kevin Conroy's Batman next
Yes.
to each other, and they're kind of sort of wearing similar clothes, and you can't tell it apart. It's it's like it's got a cloning facility for making Batman. Ben Affleck was like mate actually built specifically to be Batman. Yeah.
And I love to see him play off against Henry Cavill because obviously
Yeah,
they're pretty much the same size. They're both intimidating. There's this
yeah,
intensity between them. It just works incredibly well.
yeah. It was brilliant, and it's just one of those movies where I don't think that I'm ever going to stop, finding new things in it, or not even finding new things, but it's one of the things that kind of sort of triggers emotions and connections to your personal self and things like that. And it's like it's priceless for me as a fan for rewatch value. How many films, you get them films that are, well, like for instance, the Batman. That was all right, but it was like after I'd watched it once, and then I watched it twice, I was like, don't know, done, it's kind of done really.
There's no replay value with it.
No,
Yes.
no, it's like, because you kind of know the surprises and things like that, and I know it's a different style of filming, and it had some great cinematography and stuff like that in it, but there's like things like Batman versus Superman, and Zack Snyder's Justice League hasn't even been really touched yet, because where we was when Batman vs Superman came out in the sort of timeline, but we've been finding out things about these movies years later. It's just one thing after another. Someone will spot something new, and then Zack Snyder will confirm it. Like, oh yeah, that was actually supposed to be that.
I love that he does that, and I follow him on Twitter as well, obviously, and
Yeah,
these little cryptic tweets that he does. So he's got
I
something in the
know.
foreground, and then he's got something way off in the distance and in behind, and people are
Yeah,
like poring over these pictures, trying to figure out what he's trying to
yeah,
convey. It's a lot of
yeah.
fun.
There was so much of that coming up towards the Snyder Cut. Before the announcement and things like that, and Clay Staub, his assistant director, he was doing the same King Arthur references, because there's a lot of I've said about this a lot on the channel, Excalibur references in Batman versus Superman. Because that was I'm an '80s child. I sort of grew up with Excalibur. It's one of my,
I love Excalibur. It's a great film.
British, proper British film. It's sort of it's got its own sort of charm, and it was great to see that was such a big part of it.
What was it about Batman vs Superman that really drew you in? Did you get to see it obviously at the cinema? Did you
Yeah,
see it multiple times?
yeah, I saw it. I think 4 times. I think
Wow.
because I was totally blown away. Even the theatrical cut. People say the ultimate cut's better. It is. I've never watched the theatrical cut since the ultimate cut came out. I don't see any point in that, really. That kind
Really?
of thing.
See, I don't think I've seen the ultimate cut. I've only ever seen the theatrical. So that's interesting. Would you recommend that one over the one that I've seen?
What, the ultimate cut of Batman vs Superman? Well, it's like the extended versions of Lord of the Rings. Once got
Oh,
you've got that, you don't. There's so much missing out of it. Important, stuff that makes things make sense, and it was all stuff that people was complaining about as well. They were going, oh well, this didn't make sense because of that, and this didn't make sense because of that. And then when the ultimate cut came out, it was actually the things that they were complaining about that was missing, which is fucking Warner Brothers again.
I seem to get a lot of that with Zach's films. Bless him. He has this
Yeah,
vision
I know.
that he wants to convey, and he just gets bits cut out, and then down the line he has to re-release the films with the story he wanted to tell originally.
Yeah, I know, and and I hope that Zack Snyder's Justice League is the kind of the catalyst for studios to realise that this is just not acceptable. We can't keep doing this. Not only is it against artist integrity, but you're ripping off the fans by saying you can have a shorter one, and then we'll give you the longer one later, but you got to pay again. Like, you're having a fucking laugh.
Yes, just have some faith in the guy for once. It's okay.
Yeah,
I think he's got a proven track record by now. Just release his vision.
yeah, I know, and I think mostly it's down to because he's like a bit of a genius, Zach. When he kind of shows it to these executives that just suits in an office at the end of the day, they're not really creative in any way, and they just can't understand it. Honestly, I think that's what it is. There's been a couple of instances where, the Warner Brothers executives have been caught out about that. About saying, I can't remember who it was. It was Toby Emmerich or someone said about why doesn't Superman use the ship to go back to Krypton or something? And Zack Snyder, that was like. Krypton was blown up at the beginning of the movie.
Slight problem, unless it's time travels, yes.
Yeah, I know, but just basic things like that. And the other one was, can we set it in Detroit instead of Kansas? What?
You know what? I wouldn't mind seeing that just to see how they pulled it off.
Yeah. But these basic things like Kansas and stuff like that, it's really important stuff. And if they don't even know about that, then they're fucking clueless, really. They shouldn't be doing the job that they're doing.
Yes, have some faith in the people that actually know what they're talking about, and just smile and nod. It's fine.
Yes, let them get on with it. And you got to take the risk. You get the odd disaster here and there. But I don't think that limiting and cutting up people's work is the way forward at all.
No, and we've had films that have been cut up and messed around with, and it's pretty much destroyed the film. Luckily, we do have these extended versions of Zack Snyder's films that can be released. But can you imagine if they just scrapped all the extra that was filmed? We would never actually have these cuts.
No, well, a good example of that is one of my favourite movies, Event Horizon. They cut a load of that out because it's a very scary sort of sci-fi horror movie, but they cut a load out because they thought it was too disturbing. And there was some Hollywood fire, it was a big one, I can't remember what year it was, and it was destroyed at it. And the director came out and said that, when the release of Snyder Cut was going on, he come and spoke out about it, saying, because people were saying release the full cut of it, and he said, I wish I could, so if someone wants to pay me to remake scenes, I will, but that ain't gonna happen,
Yes, and one of the ones that springs to mind for me would be Alien 3. Now, this is a film that performed really badly until we got the assembly cut years later.
Yeah. Brilliant. That's the stuff like the capturing the alien in the tank type thing, and then the nutter let it go and things like that. It was all like massive part of the story that was missing.
It just makes more sense. It's just a much more cohesive, flowing film. It's bizarre that they cut it in the first place.
Yeah, and because Alien 3 got such a bad name for that, and people are starting to realise about this assembly cut over the years, but it's still got a bad stigma about it. That movie, it's fantastic. Yes. Yeah.
A lot of people will still say that it's the weakest, up until we got the Alien versus Predator and or Prometheus and all those sort of films. But the assembly cut really does, bring it back to where it should have been.
Yeah, that's right. And I've said about this as well with Aliens, the 1986 version, that had 17 and a half minutes cut out of it. Same thing with Batman versus Superman. And it was really important stuff, like about Newt's parents, getting the alien on them, and the colonists, and Ripley's daughter. That was all missing. And that's why she had a connection to Newt, because she just recently found out her daughter was dead. And then they released, I think that was in 1989, the special edition with the bits missing. And it's another example of that.
Yes. It's like we were saying, you would think by now, and we've had so many examples of these, that people would just, unless it's extras that you don't need, release whatever it is that is filmed. Let the audience decide whether it makes it a better film or not.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it's all down to money because of releasing shorter films and things like that. Popcorn flicks and stuff like that. But people sat in the cinema to watch Lord of the Rings, no problem. I know they was cut as well, but there was only so far you could go with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. We were talking about Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Obviously, we love the principal cast, but what did you think of the rest of the cast? What did you think of Jesse Eisenberg, for example? Now, I wasn't a big fan, I've got to admit, but he seems to have mixed opinions.
Yeah, well, at first I was like, this is a bit odd, the long hair and all that, and then I remembered he had long hair in some of the comics and stuff.
Yes, yeah.
Alexander Luthor and things like that. So I thought, all right, that's easily explainable. This is a kind of different take and earlier and all that. But yeah, that was very polarized. People were very on the fence with him, but I think he pulled it off eventually in the end anyway.
Yes, when we kind of saw where it was he was taking this character, I just was a little bit put off because he was so manic, especially early on in the film. He's bouncing all over the place and he's eating, I think it was Jolly Ranchers or something, and he's just he's not how you envision the character, but I guess it was a different take.
Yeah, and that's another thing, and hopefully if the SnyderVerse is restored. It's Jared Leto's a good example of this. He was not received 100% well either because of again cutting the movie up and decisions that were made by the studio again. But if the SnyderVerse is restored, if we see a sort of full blown Jesse Eisenberg in a black suit, red tie, bulked up. And more, but like, oh right, well there he is, and this is another reason why the Restore the SnyderVerse is so important because of things like this, because it was all sort of leading up to that, and I think that's where the characters and the movies get a lot of criticism for because he didn't even have a chance to get off the ground properly.
Yes, they clearly had a vision that they were working before, but because of interference, it was almost like they were trying to kind of derail it. They didn't want them to make these films, which is a shame. Not having the faith in these characters or in the creators.
Yeah, that's right. And it's things are starting to change as well. A lot of kind of other directors and people in all sorts of media are sort of saying that this is it's got to be a learning experience now. Things have got to change, and so it's there's more to release the Snyder Cut than meets the eye really, because it started a bit of a revolution. Zack Snyder is literally there's an Easter egg of Zack Snyder in everything. The Boys, it's like the Eternals. It's just one thing after another. And I know people make fun of that. Sometimes people can overdo it with the Zack Snyder as the blueprint thing, but generally he is pretty much, he's in so much stuff. He's sort of handprint is all over everything.
Do you think that perhaps they also underestimated the passion of the fans as well? Because we saw this Restore the Snyder Cut. It was a movement. Everybody got together, everybody was talking about it, everybody was pushing to have this thing released.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And that's at the end of the day, that's, how we got it. It was great that we raised the money for charity and stuff.
Absolutely.
It's nearly at $1 million now, that. But at the end of the day, it was just Zack going to Warner Brothers with, and saying, look, this is what we can do. with the movie. All I need to do is do this, do that, and we can release it. And the fans really want it. They've just recently released got to over 1 million tweets, and of course, this is still crooked Warner Brothers. They're like, whoa, yeah, that's it's a no-brainer. We'll make loads of money out of that. Thank you for that, Zach. And then it was a global phenomenon. That's what it's called. Go on.
I would say it really was. It ignited the passion, and people were absolutely right to want this film. And it came because of such a tragedy. It was almost poor Zack being kind of not vindicated, but shown the love that he deserved from the fans because of the reason that obviously he didn't get his cut out in the first place.
Yeah. But then as soon as they'd done their deal and got their what they wanted, they didn't call Zack. He said that. I think that was his. They just haven't phoned me. And if it was like, what? The whole world is saying this movie is amazing, we want more, and you're saying no. Not only no, actually insulting the fans and directly, because there's toxic fans in every fandom.
Oh yes, but they really do play up the whole toxic fandom, and they did with this. The fans really did get vilified.
And it's just it's absolute bullshit, really, because it's the same for anyone, and the media do the same. They just focus on the negative, not realise what's actually going on. But when we'll just have to wait and see. But like the cliffhanger at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, and things like that, and just a huge buzz around it. From a business standpoint, it's definitely a personal matter or something against Zack and his vision, because why wouldn't is a license to print money? Everyone wants it.
Yes, and we've talked about this before, and I think I've talked about this with Sil, and I know a lot of other people that we know in the community have talked about this, but they don't seem to be making the most of these characters that people have grown up with. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. People love these characters, and they want more of them.
Yeah, and I understand companies got to try new things and introduce new characters, but these are like really integral characters, like you said, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and it's like just what are you playing at?
Yes, they really seem to be dragging their heels with bringing out a new solo Superman film, and it's not even because Henry Cavill doesn't want to do it; he wants to play this role.
So he does.
Let him do it, for goodness sakes.
Yeah. It's it's just so terrible. And then Ben Affleck as well, he's had his own issues and personal problems and stuff, but it's they're kind of pushing these great iconic characters, actors playing these characters away. And even Gal Gadot, when she was mistreated by Joss Whedon on the set of Justice League and things like that. It's just so strange, and it's not a pattern that's in the movie industry in general, because a lot of the time people making movies, it's hard work, but it's fun. And everyone wants to be a part of it and enjoy it, and Warner Brothers aren't creating that environment,
No, they're certainly not. And we've seen this with other films that they've done, especially I think Aquaman. Not mentioning any names, the chemistry between certain co-stars just wasn't there, and they've talked about this openly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and and when I had Rich said Trone on. Ben Affleck's stuntman in Batman vs Superman, He's put Team Zack for all of his movies, several different characters. He was Steppenwolf and that as well. And he said after the Justice League, when they done Army of the Dead, it was like he said it was like coming home. Like it was back to this buzz environment, working with Zack, working with a nice environment and a good team of people, and not being messed with, and things like that. So. This Warner Brothers Discovery merger, that we've all been following, and Sil Abdul, Mikey Sutton have been covering. It all hangs on that now, and it's looking very hopeful. I've got to the point now where it's 100% for me. I'm quite happy to say that to people, and they're like, "Well, can you confirm that?" I said, "Well, I just know."
Yes, you just have a good feeling about it.
Yeah.
And I do too. And just from a business standpoint, it just makes sense the direction they're going. They picked a great time to kind of bring all of these different parts of the DC into one thing and put it all under one umbrella. The idea that they're bringing the games in, that they're bringing the comics book back in to try and revitalize that, which, let's face it, they really do need to do. I think it's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, well, the comic books have really taken a dive in recent years. I mean, I keep up with my comic books a bit, with Batman stuff and occasional Justice League things and things like that. But it wasn't like when I was younger and in the 90s. That sort of, I think it was before the New 52. I think even.
Yep, that's pretty much where I stopped once they got to the New 52.
Yeah. It just didn't. It wasn't the same, and it was, it just didn't have that magic. But in more recent years, the stories are just completely lame. You get the odd one here and there, and but they've got a serious problem with. How they're handling the characters, I think.
Yes, too much identity politics has been injected into these characters.
Yeah.
And they've taken away a lot of the core elements. My favourite character has always been Batman. I love reading the Batman comics, but we went from having the very brooding, dark character to a very kind of light character and everything in between. But what we don't have anymore is the Batman with compassion, the more human side we don't see.
Yeah, that's right. And they touched on that with Batman versus Superman and Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Exactly.
And they've done a little bit of it in the Batman, but I think they went a little bit over the top for that, actually.
a little bit too brooding. Yeah, just dial it back a little bit. Yeah.
Hope meter, is he Batman or is he a fireman? Come on, make your mind up.
I wanted Andy Serkis to just slap him. It's like,
that would have been a good scene.
But I do admit that Patterson did surprise me. I think he's a good Batman, but not a great Bruce Wayne.
No, and no disrespect to the Batman fans watching. If you like that, you like that. But it might grow on me over time. But it's not it's not doing nothing for me.
It's a different take. Yes.
Yeah, it's a different take, and the biggest issue for me with that was it's very much like a new version of the Nolan trilogy, and people hate that comparison, but it just is.
Yes, I don't mind a darker, more grounded take. I thought the use of Gotham I thought was one of the best I've seen on film.
It was very Blade Runner sort of looking type stuff. Cyberpunk or whatever you want to call it. And that was good. But so we've got an invasion going on here. This could only mean one thing: disruption in communications. It's
Coffee talk.
it's coming talk.
There he is. Hey.
Welcome, still Abdul.
What's up? It's a busy day, but I wanted to make sure I made it here, David.
Yeah,
and
thanks.
Much love to Purple. What's up?
Good to see
Yeah.
you. Hey.
I mean, you guys make a great team when you're doing your stream stuff.
Oh, it's like magic. Yeah, it's
Chaos.
I tell people, me and Purple knew each other from another life. I think that's really what it
Yeah.
is.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, we were partners in crime, kind of like Bonnie and Clyde sort of thing.
Yeah. Hawkman, Hawkgirl, it's something happening.
Yeah, you've been reincarnated over the years. Yeah. But it's so funny as well. And your takes on stuff, Valkyrie. They call me the Savage Bat. I mean, it can be straight to the point, brutal. Yes, it's brilliant.
I just think it's hilarious that still turns up just as we're talking about Matt Reeves. It's like he's got a sixth sense.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's
I've got to go to Matt Reeves digging.
See, that's that reincarnation vibe. I felt it. Didn't know.
Oh, it's bloody great. But what's been going on? Like, do sort of a little update for the benefit of the audience recently with Warner Brothers and your channel and Mikey Sutton's Scoops and what you guys have been covering for God knows how long now. Over a year, you've been.
It's over 2 years.
Yeah.
Bringing the receipts. Yep.
Yeah, bringing the receipts one after another. And Anne Sarnoff, he's done that one. Jason Keeler, and then the big celebration. Pow! Goodbye, motherfucker. That was seriously Toby Eremic. It was just brilliant. Because
that's the main question, David, I got over the past years. When is Toby going to be gone? It's like, I'm Like, I don't have to answer that no more.
Yeah. It's over now. Deal with it.
You on the other side, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And
that's
I mean,
so weird.
Yeah, I know. And well, people, having a sort of negative response to all of this hype with the Restore the SnyderVerse fandom in general, kind of hoping for all this to happen, and you guys covering it, and everything is coming to pass one after another. I don't give them the time of day, but they're still saying this. There's this, is that. It's like, what? At what point are you going to admit defeat?
Right, it's like, man, I mean, it literally was a year ago to this month that Mikey put out that the old regime is going to get wiped out. This merger, it's a wrap, right? And like you said, that constant doubt that people was throwing at Mikey, not knowing that wasn't his first rodeo in this scoop day, right? Like he put it out there, he put his name in there for a reason. And to see it come about, David, like I said, I mean, you have a great following, like on Facebook. You're doing some great stuff for the Snyder fandom. So, shout out to you, what you're doing. And that's one thing. I've been a part of the fandom. I had my wars, my BVS wars, right, as I always say, David. And I told the fandom I would never allow no one to steer them wrong, right? And I know you wouldn't either, David, for the Snyder fandom. And so if there was something sketchy, I would have called it out. I think people are using it on my channel, calling like Matt Reeves out, Purple, right? But
take a drink. Yes.
So yeah, if it's only the real information, that's what we're going to give for Snyder fandom, and that's one thing Mikey is committed to, David. So this is good stuff.
That's right. I think a good term you used is the critical thinkers. This is one's for the critical thinkers. Because it's not all, written in stone. You have to put the effort in, work some of it out for yourself, and then based on like Mikey's scoops and stuff and what's going on behind the scenes and things, and things change.
It's a luxury, right, David, to have that behind the scenes. Like, it's so eerie how Mikey leaks stuff.
Yeah.
Like the DC restructuring, right? That
yeah.
You know, the weirdos, like, they forgot Mikey scooped that last summer too.
Yeah, well, they always forget.
You know, Zaz's plan to restructure, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, it's true. He wants to restructure DC. Great guess, right? But like you said, it's all about, you know, you see the trail, you see the timeline, and that's the people that I kind of, you know, pay attention to. The people that really don't want to, like you said, critically think, David. That my channel is not really for them.
No. I mean, neither, because you know.
We got steaks and potatoes and purple on my channel. So
yeah. What do you think about all this purple? You know, just one thing after another. What's your take on it?
This was an education for me, because this is a side that I hadn't seen before. I mean, I obviously knew about the passion of the fans, and I knew, you know, how important the Snyder Cut was to a lot of people. But until I started, you know, talking to Sir and to yourself and to several other members of this community, I didn't realise just how deep it ran and how much you guys have had to put up with.
Yeah, it has been a bit of a battle. Some of us a bit like, you know, battle damaged, I think.
You know, we got our scars, right?
Yeah, we got scars. Yeah, but it's you know, it's all working out in the end, and it's all worth it. But you know, hopefully now, you know, once the SnyderVerse is restored, the fans can have a nice, good rest, and you know, the people that are interested in that kind of Kamada and you know, Matt Reeves verse, whatever you want to call it, they can have their thing, and we can have our thing, and everyone's happy. We can all sit back and bask in the sun and just chill.
It's going to be, and that's the thing. Zaz, of, you know, according to Mikey's reports, he wants to hit all ends of DC. I mean, he wants that main Justice League timeline, right? That's you know, if you want to be like Marvel, yes, you got to have your Avengers, you know, Justice League continuity. But with Todd Phillips, like his Joker film, he wants to do more with like Black Label. That's what Mikey was reporting as well.
Yeah,
and that's exciting for DC Comics fans.
The darker stuff. You
know what I'm saying? Like, you can really go there with alternate takes, one-off stories. You know, DC has that luxury. Now, Feige is planning on actually building this. Now, it may take him a couple years, but he sees what DC has with, like, you know, like what-if stories, right?
Yeah.
That's what Marvel tried to do. Feige wants to double down on that and have like this separate thing going. DC already has it. It's right there.
Yeah.
You know, and Zaza sees it. So
it's less what if and more why bother at this point with Marvel.
Man.
I've been following your Moon Knight stuff.
We got roasted by our own channel members for that one.
It was all right. I like some of bits about it, but there was some pretty dumb ass shit, you know, in that, especially towards the end. But and it's such a shame as well, because Oscar Isaacs is a legend.
I was like, fuck it, I'm not going to like anything ever again.
me and Purple, we was positive about Moon Knight for like 3 episodes.
Yeah, so was I.
I'd never been so positive about something ever, and people were just like, whatever. And then as soon as we criticize one thing, oh, you guys are a bunch of bums.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, it's just as soon as you form your own opinion, it's like, oh, yeah.
That's what I said with. I said with this Obi-Wan coming up, I was like, Purple sent this one out. Because it's like Roshi for this Obi-Wan takes.
Yeah, I know. Well, me and Sil spoke the other day, and he said, recommendation, don't even mention Star Wars to Purple.
Oh, yeah, that was my message. I said, do not ask Purple.
Don't even talk about it.
You're going to get the full Valkyrie.
Yeah.
You talk Star Wars.
No, we'll keep keep that for separate.
Star Wars fan, but just seeing what Disney have done with the IP, it just makes me sad for the people that really did love Star Wars. But having seen this, it did give me a newfound appreciation for the prequel films. So
yeah. Oh wow, there's something positive.
Yeah, there you go, silver lining.
Hey!
There's still a roast for that.
Well, yeah. Right, moving on. I've been.
I told you, David.
No. What? Open a can of worms here, haven't we? But no, this Black Label stuff and Zaslav's plan with Restore the Snyderverse. Like, I was in the chat for your Scoop Center last night, and one of the characters that sprung to mind for me was Lobo. Lobo was like an R-rated character anyway. Like, he was sort of the most sort of famous sort of for being R-rated character really in DC, really, for me.
Yeah. Wasn't like the late 90s, like it was like this real hysteria over Lobo in the comics, I think. Yeah. And they tried to hit him like a Wolverine type or what was you getting from that? Like, that's when I started really getting into comics, David, when the Marvel DC crossover, it happened, I think it was in 97.
Yeah.
And they pit Lobo against Wolverine, I believe. And again, they were just pushing Lobo. Like I said, that's a great pick, though, like you say, for a dark label, black label.
Yes.
Could be the next DC Deadpool type thing.
I'd love to see that, yeah.
I would love to see it. Now, we're going to have an update because those watch this. We got part 2 of our Scoop Center, a special edition Sunday. And we're going to talk some DC Comics, like what is Zazav really doing with that division? Because that's it was about the film division first, like just and streaming. Let's fire everybody, right? That's what's happening. And then canceling projects, like that's what's happening.
Yeah,
Wonder
Dolph
Twins,
Rich Wonder Twins.
Fuck the Wonder Twins.
Purple already know what I'm going. And so now it's like once he just slaughters everyone there, then. He has to look at the TV. CW's already happened. He already canceled Batwoman and other things.
Good.
He said cancel. He said not release Gotham Knights, but we'll talk about that another time. But Comic Division is next, right? So hopefully Mikey has something new about that. But the comics need some love, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they do. They really need to sort that out and some like connect it to the movie somehow a bit and get the buzz going again.
Comics and games as well. You think back, we had the fantastic Arkham Asylum games that people loved, but they haven't really done anything. That Suicide Squad game that we were supposed to be getting.
When, Purple?
When? Hopefully never, because it looked terrible. But
savage.
They kept showing this terrible Harley Quinn every time. Like, why are you showing this?
No, but it's no. I think it's all going to work out. It's all going to work out in the end, and in every kind of side of it, because all the signs are there. Every it seems that every single decision that David Zaslav makes is in favour of the Zack Snyder fandom. It's
a little eerie, right?
It's like, oh, what's going on here? We're not like particularly got any relationship towards him or nothing like that. He just seems to be in touch with us somehow. I'm sure we're going to get to love him after he restores the Snyderverse. But
And I know, David, like I said, because I know a large section of the Snyder fandom, watches, your platform, and I want to reiterate, like with Zaslav, and me and Mikey have had talks about this for the past year. Zaslav is not just like this big Snyder fan. He's not just like, I just love Zack Snyder and I just want to restore Snyderverse, right? He's like, no.
Yeah, it's not about that. It's just going to be realistic.
Zaslav knows his big IPs for across the board. Game of Thrones, Sex and the City, Harry Potter, stuff like that. DC, right? DC is a big IP. What's big in DC? Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman. He counts Aquaman as a big IP as well. Not Flash yet. We'll see next summer. But
I'm not why. Yeah.
So how can I extract, monetize these IPs? Oh, you had a Justice League film, 2021. Oh, that was a Zack Snyder Justice League. So it's perfect timing, right, for the Snyder Cut to come out. And it was a global phenomenon.
Yeah.
And so that's what Zaz was looking at. He's not that he's like one of us.
No, that's what I mean.
It's just, I can make money off of this.
Yeah, this is big bucks.
Go
billion. Justice League 2 is easily going to hit $1 billion.
Oh, yeah. You put that in theaters? Come on now.
And then 3, I wouldn't be surprised to done even more than that. Started making sort of Marvel money because just the hype surrounding it all, and getting these people together like Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot but Henry Cavill, they're big time. So it's just individually it's
gonna sell itself, right?
It sells what?
Come on now, Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill's like a national star now.
Yeah,
Gal Gadot is like an international star.
Gal Gadot's like the queen of the universe or something.
Exactly. Plus, like you think all the men in this film, that's going to sell itself. Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Ezra Miller going to hide him behind, Aquaman.
Yeah.
We'll be okay though.
Yeah. He's gonna be fine. He'll be fine. I don't think Amber Heard's gonna do very well though.
Not if the latest rumors are true. No.
What rumors are in with that purple? Amber Heard is like still in the news for some reason.
Yeah, well, apparently she's been cut. They've taken her role out completely. That's the rumor floating around at the moment.
Yeah. Because it would, seriously damage the movie. We won't go too far in that because do you know what? I bet everyone is fucking sick about hearing about this Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. I know I have. It's enough is enough.
Me and Purple we was doing shows where it was about Hollywood drama like every week, and we got tired of the trial. Our whole show, and we was like, "No, I don't want to do that no more."
It's the job done, justice done.
We had to deviate away from it. There wasn't anything to do with Jada or Will, and we couldn't find anything else to talk about.
Yeah, well, that was another. Yeah, Will Smith was soon forgotten.
Hey, you got away scot-free, slapping the man.
Slap
man. Only Will Smith. I would have been shot if I did.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, no, fucking hell. It's no joke. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ. He got away with it, though, But, like you were saying in the chat, of, about now Will Smith will be, perhaps charge a little bit less and he come back as Deadshot.
Discount Deadshot.
Yeah, discount Deadshot.
Slap shot, right?
Slap shot.
Will Smith is already forgiven.
It's
all about public opinion. That's why Amber Heard's getting deleted. Yeah. Will Smith is going to be reinserted, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
he's okay.
That's right. It's a strange one, but oh well. That's just how the cookie crumbles, I suppose. And with the Discovery merger, the 100-day plan or whatever, and things like the Aya cut of Suicide Squad. I think it's pretty obvious that that's going to be the first piece of the puzzle. I think. Yeah,
because it's already done, right? I was told last fall. Actually, it was the fall of 2020.
Yeah.
Actually, that the Air Cut was done then.
Yeah.
It could have been released DC Fandom 2021,
right.
But we realized they just decided to just not do anything for 2021, right? So
that was absolute bullshit.
Got nothing, right?
Yeah, nothing at all.
Sitting there. Air Cut's just sitting there. They're guerrilla marketing it. You get new scenes and pictures. every other month, right at this point.
Yeah.
And like you said, David, that may be the first piece because it's already ready to go as content.
Yeah.
Throw it on streaming. DC fandom, I think, is what we're expecting.
Is that October, isn't it? Or is
they haven't announced it yet. I think when we look at that 100-day plan, as you mentioned, it was about restructuring the organization, aka firing people, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's getting fired right now. That's what's
Clown Table Massacre.
Repair relationships. So you may hear you see in Ray Fisher complimenting WBD, Christopher Nolan. You may get some headlines with him in the next couple of months. Repairing relationships, right? Zack Snyder,
that was them
obviously.
two things: Christopher Nolan, Zack Snyder, and Ray Fisher, obviously. But the
Wachowskis. That's another relationship that they, because you still can make money off the Matrix IP, Purple, right? Like that anime was wonderful.
Yes, it was. I was going to say you'd be hard pressed after the last film, but I think as a franchise, I don't think it's dead. People really do love the concept of the Matrix.
It's salvageable, only just though.
So it's repairing those relationships. So 100-day plan is repairing those relationships. So that's what's happening. We're still we about to get to the halfway point. The merger happened April 11th. So we're just under probably like 50 days, I think, of that. So now it's about getting that new DC head. Then you're going to get your answers with when is DC fandom, when is Zack Snyder coming back, all that stuff will be when Mike DeLuca, who took Toby Emmerich's job, he will get his new DC person. And DeLuca's a big DC fan as well, DC Comics fan as well. So I'm excited, but that's the next ball to drop. I know everyone wants to know when something's going to happen.
No.
And DeLuca had to get fired first.
Yeah, but DeLuca, for instance, from what I've seen, is a bit pro Snyder as well. So
he's pro Snyder, pro Ben Affleck. So you got the right guy as far as for DC fans. That we like. Yeah. He's a hit. He's over all the films, which is amazing. And he's going to get the right person in there. The comic book industry, I will say, I always said this about the Frank Miller production company. They were hyping up Mike DeLuca 2 weeks ago before he even got hired. He said Mike DeLuca is one of them, one of the comic book industry people. He loves comics, and he can put it into live action. So, long story short, I'm expecting a Dark Knight Returns film. I think he's going to work with Frank Miller once he gets his DC person. So that was for this. Yeah,
when we done your birthday stream, that was my wish. Was the Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and Part 2? So
I think it's happening.
Yeah.
I think getting live action now. Will that be like a Black Label approach? So Mikey's like, well, Black Label will be kind of lower budget, but
it'd be hard to do.
One-off. Just do a one-off Dark Knight Returns. Let's go, right? Like I think people want to see that story.
Yeah, because it's unclear whether it's pointing in the direction that it's not going to be Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill, but either way, I'd love to see it. But
either way, I just want to see it. Right?
But I do think that it would, after the SnyderVerse, it would nicely finish off the story with Ben Affleck with grey hair, just pretty much doing a sort of Watchmen version, like nearly the same. Dark Knight Returns with Henry Cavill as Superman, introduce Kerry Kelly. Things like that, and that would be.
Oh man, that would be wonderful. Like, I mean, Purple, you think of like the ways they can go with DC now. It's like, I mean, you can do your Dark Knight Returns, you could do your one-off like deceased storylines, right? Like, I mean, they can really go all in with DC going forward.
Really like the kind of spin-off ideas. I think that works really well, and it's interesting to see now Marvel are almost kind of copying that idea where they're going darker with a lot of their shows. We've got things like Werewolf by Night that's coming. We've got Midnight Suns, which has been talked about, and this is a direction that they haven't gone before. So it is interesting to see roles reversed. So now they're trying to play catch up with what DC is doing.
Well, see, with Marvel, their thing is that because they got that whole Disney, they got this Mickey Mouse thing, you know, over anything they do. So it's like, even with Moon Knight, right? Like, where they tried to go there, but really he just kind of blacked out. Everyone died while he blacked out, right? So it's like, and so Werewolf by Night, I'm excited for. I know Purple's very excited for Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, I'll look out for that one.
They gotta nail that. They cannot mess around.
Look what they did with Sam Raimi's
Raimi's what did Raimi do?
Oh, Doctor Strange. Sorry.
Oh yeah, the Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness.
That first act was pretty good, I would say. Yeah. They can go there, but then they kind of pulled the reins back on Raimi, like in the middle of the film. You know, and you felt that if you was watching it, you know, you felt that. But they can't pull the reins back with Werewolf by Night. You know, you can't do that. Blade. They cannot mess up Blade.
Marvel have been there before with the Blade, for instance. You know, that was a fucking cool movie and really dark and gory. You know, and that kind of revived the comic book movie, really. Blade.
That really started
after the disaster of Batman and Robin. It's Blade that really put comic book movies back on the map again. And we'll have to thank Blade for that. Thank Marvel.
Yeah, Blade, you know, Wesley Snipes.
Fuck Marvel, but thank Marvel.
But like, and then you're doing another one that's like, it can't be like, oh, it's PG-13 and you're gonna love it. No, fine, you know, this is Blade. Okay.
No. Yeah.
If I gotta go back and watch the original over the new one, like, you got a problem. He's gonna have a problem when that comes out.
Definitely. Yeah, but I hope that the roles aren't, you know, well, this is the problem, you know, there's, you know, the Hamada Burgers, should we say, it's got this sort of trying to be Marvel, but not even quite Marvel. I don't know what the fuck they was doing, but it wasn't any good. I don't know
what they was doing, bro. We're going to find out in the Flash film what they was doing.
Yeah, that's going to kind of be that and Peacemaker 2, Season 2. That's going to be sort of the last remnants of the old regime.
You like Peacemaker a little bit, right?
I did. Funny. Yeah, it was funny. It was, you know, irreverent. It wasn't, and
I'm
even
roast you.
This is coming from someone who isn't the biggest John Cena fan, but yeah, I thought it was pretty good. And I did actually like Suicide Squad. I thought that was a great film, especially, you know, the opening. I thought that was a gigantic middle finger to the previous film.
That's your chaotic side speaking, Purple. Like, you like the chaos.
Just let it all out. No, I'm complete opposite. I fucking hated the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. I hated Peacemaker more though.
So you set me up.
Chaos.
This is an ambush.
But I mean, I said though, in Peacemaker, Cena, that's his best performance I think I've ever seen John Cena. I hate the show. Like, I hate but I hate Vigilante. I really hate Vigilante in that show. But
that definitely
Cena,
was not comic.
He's never been better, and he deserves another season. Like, I'm cool with Cena getting another season. I think he does good in that role. I actually agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna struggle to watch that. I struggled with season 1, to be honest with you. You know, it made me laugh and things like that, but it was just, I just thought it was dumb as shit. It had great points and stuff. You know,
and Justice League in there is like, nah.
No, that was just. How dare you?
Yeah, I'm gonna get that.
Total setup, Purple. I love you though. Total setup.
Take the L, Purple. Take the L.
Oh dear, I didn't even realise that. Peacemaker.
This is still naughty side coming out. This is what I do with.
Oh, Savage bad. We going crazy over here.
Yeah. Oh dear. But anyway, hopefully that will be the last sort of remnants of that, and then we start to get to see the SnyderVerse and all these like things like Todd Phillips' Joker. Like to see sort of more of that. And
yes,
you know what's interesting?
We've got the sequel coming, haven't we? He's been talking. He's almost finalised that. Do you guys think we needed a sequel, or because I always thought the standalone film was just fine with that particular character?
I was just either way. I wasn't bothered whether it got a sequel or not. I think it's standalone. It would have done fine on its own. And if we're going to get a sequel, just make sure they don't fuck it up, really, because the first one was so good. You know, and
you could have left that where it was at, right? And
same with the HBO Max Watchmen series. You know, people were saying, "Oh, what about season 2?" And the director, whatever, was saying there was never any intention for there to be a season 2.
Yeah. Well,
you know, and that was the
thankfully,
same.
Yeah. Thankfully, there's no season 2. That's
That's convenient. Yeah.
Let's demasculate Dr. Manhattan. No, thank you. I'd rather not see another season of that.
But it done really well, you know, at the awards and stuff, and you know, it had its
a lot of boxes. Yeah.
It did. It did. It was a good way of describing it. Really,
Regina King is wonderful. I love. What was his sister?
I've been a fan of her since you know.
I love Regina King. Right? Yeah. It's just it literally was some kind of like political, nature behind it, and I think that ruins any story when it's politics first.
It does.
But Watchmen is such a good IP. Like it's almost like you can't really touch Watchmen anymore. Like that's not even.
No,
that's not even do that. I didn't read that Rorschach comic they tried to put out 2 years ago. I was like, just leave Watchmen alone.
Yeah,
let it live.
I think the only example of Watchmen that I think could possibly work is if they brought that crossover with the DC universe and Watchmen. You know, Batman finds the comedian's badge.
That was dope. Yeah.
I think that's about the only way you could touch Watchmen, really. Yeah. And it'd have to be Zack Snyder on that case. I'm not saying Zack Snyder has to be everything, but on that case, it would have to be.
Yes, we are, David. No, listen. Because Black Channel. Everything.
Yeah. Snap fools.
Get Reeves out of here. What are we doing?
Oh, dear. Yeah, well, they know, don't they? They know what Snyder fans are.
That's a great idea, though, that button idea. And I think Muschietti actually was inspired by that. I will tell you, David.
Yeah.
And the Snyder fandom is that Muschietti, the film's going to be uneven, but it's going to be parts of this film that you're going to like, this Flash film.
Yeah.
It's going to be parts when you see Batfleck, you're going to like it because he's trying to meld the SnyderVerse with like some Hamada thing. He's trying to put everything together. Yeah. It's an impossible task. I think the film still is going to suck, but it's going to be parts that you may like.
Yeah. Well, it's just seeing the 1989 Batmobile, for instance, things like that going to be like enjoyable.
Nostalgia,
big nostalgia, and Michael Keaton as well. But I don't know what he's going to be like in it or whatever. But,
right. And just,
brief, I would imagine.
I don't sound like a spoiler, but just, he may explode halfway through it. But it's like the thing.
Boom.
The nostalgia factor, I think, will be really cool.
We went over some of those Reddit leaks, and
pretty hot stream.
We had words to say about that.
Yeah.
We were off though. Yeah.
I only just really sort of started looking a little bit on Reddit and things like that. I never really sort of paid attention to it, and there's a lot of bullshit on there, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of like Reddit crowd seemed to just, instead of actually reporting on stuff to do with superheroes, they seem to just be reporting on other people reporting on superheroes. Like the fandom police or something.
So it's like with this Reddit thing, I'm looking at it like, well, I'm just gonna have fun with it because I know it's a lot of BS on there. And so
it's crazy.
That's why it's like I'm gonna do more streams with Purple, where we may see like a Reddit leak, and we're just gonna like make fun of it for like 2 hours, and just have fun with it. Yeah, you can't trust somebody
I
on
keep trying to convince Sil that he needs to go see the Super Pets, but he won't do it.
I may do it just for the content.
Do you know what you could do? Is if Bryce Dallas Howard directed it.
I'll definitely watch it.
I showed him a picture of what Cyborg looked like, and I thought his head was going to explode.
I think I didn't respond to Purple for 2 days after
he showed me the picture.
Yeah. No, I've never really the other Super Pets cartoon or whatever it was called a while back, and every iteration of that has been terrible, really. Yes. I think the sort of connection to that that's been any good was Ace the Bat Hound in Batman Beyond. It was such a great character in it, because he didn't talk. He was just actually a dog, and he didn't dress up like Batman. That was really well done. And that's another thing that Warner Brothers have, it's just completely dumb for leaving open is Batman Beyond. Potential there for that.
Oh my goodness,
Jesus.
Well, I mean, supposedly they still want to use Keaton for that role, but
yeah,
it's they already screwed it up with this Muschietti film.
Yeah,
Keaton. So I don't know what they're doing until Mikey tells me. We'll find out.
Yeah.
I'm so confused what they're doing with Michael Keaton right now. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no. And to be honest with you, I've given up caring really. Because it's gone on so long now with the Flash and all that. Like we said, probably enjoy it and things like that. And it's just a case of we just have to wait till the Flash is done and dusted, and hope that Black Adam hasn't been poisoned too much by the old regime at Warner Brothers as well. In the same nature, because Black Adam's got such potential to be really good.
That's one film I was excited for. I remember the first time Purple was on my channel. I was like, oh, I'm so excited for Black Adam, and then then they was like, oh, we're gonna push it back. I was like, oh man, and so
it's not a year.
Yeah. Not a year, Purple. It's so
not a year.
It's I've
got more hope for that one because of The Rock, obviously, because he is very hands-on with this production.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he's a businessman, isn't he, at the end of the day?
He's going to make sure this is a hit. Him and his team, Seven Bunch Productions, they're going to, Black Adam, I think, it is going to be the best DC we're going to get this year, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Zack's bag until everything kind of happens. So I'm looking forward to that film. I still am.
So same. I just, with all that's been going on, I've just try not to get my hopes up too much with these things. But for Dwayne Johnson, for instance, it's going to be a big thing for him as well because this classic bald head with the beige shirt character that he plays in every single one of his movies. Yeah, finally maybe he's going to be able to break out of that now, and maybe Black Adam will be his first role that actually is not him. Wearing a beige shirt and shorts or whatever it is,
I think it's still just The Rock playing The Rock.
The
powers.
but he's not really, touched on that.
I'm looking more towards the JSA, David.
JSA,
Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Pierce Brosnan.
Really looking forward to Pierce Brosnan. Yeah. Big fan of Pierce Brosnan.
And we still need a Green Lantern film as well. Yes.
Yeah. Mikey's still been chatting about that a bit, and there's been a few scoops that Mikey's done, and perhaps maybe forget the TV series and go straight for the cinema with a full-on Green Lantern Corps movie with all the lanterns in it.
You could do multiple films.
That, right? Because it's kind of set in space and shit like that. It's going to be a proper science fiction epic if it was done right. Because
the first act of Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern was not that bad. It's just until the other shit happened.
Wash your mouth, Phil.
Is that Junior Heart Purple?
CGI suit.
So you didn't like any parts of it. I would say the first act was not that bad. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, I was just very forgettable.
You got me triggered over Star Wars.
Oh no!
I told Dave. I said,
he said don't mention it.
I said don't mention it.
He said don't mention it till I get here, and then I'll mention it.
Like a heart about Star Wars. I was like, I would never bring this up again to you ever, bro. Star Wars.
Yeah.
Totally triggers her. I just want to let you know.
But yeah, with the JSA, you've got Atom Smasher and a few other characters.
Cyclone,
Cyclone, and there's potential for more of that to come into it. And Hawkman, obviously, that caused a bit of a controversy, which I thought was quite a funny one actually.
That was a weird controversy.
No, because people was complaining that he was black, right? But you know the whole reincarnation thing.
Yeah,
it ended up in Egypt anyway, or started as that sort of
darker
culture. Isn't that where black people come from? Do you know what I mean?
No,
that
so
kind of
different.
These
weirdos on social media say, "Well, it could be the Thanagarian origin, or it could be the Egyptian origin." I think they're melding everything together.
Yeah,
the Egyptian and Thanagarian.
Yeah.
Long story short, it doesn't matter what color Hawkman is. I hope people.
It doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean?
It doesn't matter at all.
He ain't Clark Kent.
It's not that deep. Aldous Hodge, I think, is an up and coming actor. I'm looking forward to what he does. But
and he's huge guy. So he's,
if he sucks, you could kill him off and bring a white guy for Hawkman. It don't matter. It's reincarnation, man. Who cares?
Trying to set the planet on fire still.
I'm the Savage Bat channel.
Yeah, it is. We don't muck around here. We don't muck around. Oh dear. But Black Adam's got so much potential. And then that is it then, isn't it? There's nothing else that's of any interest, really.
Shazam comes out after
Shazam is a big question mark for me because I hated the first one with a passion. Padman suit that was just people say it's very accurate to the comics and that, and and it was a good storytelling. But I honestly couldn't give a shit. I thought it was really crap.
Purple, did you see Shazam? I never talked to you about it.
Yeah, I didn't have particularly strong feelings for it either way, to be honest. I watched it, but it was forgettable for me. Yeah.
Star Wars. Okay, so
boom.
No, it's not like that.
Shazam. I had the same problem with this Captain Marvel. Like I had a problem with the Marvel's Captain Marvel. The protagonist problem. I hated Zachary Levi. It's Shazam. That totally takes me out of a film, right? And that's just how Brie Larson took me out of the Captain Marvel film. Purple hasn't seen that one. Don't watch it.
Captain Marvel?
MCU. Don't watch that. But Zachary Levi I thought was terrible in the first, just to me personally.
Yeah.
Now this second film is more Shazam family, like Mary Marvel and the other characters. Then maybe they can kind of hide Zachary Levi a little bit, the title character in his next film. I like the director, David Sandberg. I do like the director. I think he has the worst person to play Shazam.
No, and he's bulked up a little bit by the looks of it, and seems to be putting a bit of effort, maybe a bit more effort into it. But the only hope for that is they make it a bit more serious. And a bit darker, maybe.
That would help. Yeah,
that would really help it.
Man.
You know
what?
Just the first
Shazam,
one.
I just want that fight, David and Purple with. It's Shazam versus Black Adam.
Yeah,
like just less. You know what I'm saying? That should have been really this second film.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are we wasting another film without Shazam versus Black Adam? You know what I mean? It's like it's so weird what they're doing with that.
Yeah, well, it's just another case of wasting time on Warner Brothers' part because, even more importantly than that, I know Shazam is Black Adam's kind of thing and that, but, it's, again, Black Adam versus Superman, it's not rocket science. Everyone loves that, thing because, they're so evenly matched or whatever. It'd be kind of bit like General Zod fight over again, but with a new twist to it.
And that magic factor, right, David?
And the magic. Superman doesn't do magic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's just like me and Purple. Like I don't do magic, but Purple does. Like it's total foes. Opposite spectrums. Chaos.
Oh yeah. But yeah, anyway, so that is basically it for now. There is nothing else that we've got that's coming out that there's nothing until we get these announcements for the SnyderVerse and all the other DC stuff. But the SnyderVerse, it's whatever
DC
way.
Head, David. Make sure your followers know. Like it's about. First, you had to fire everybody first, but now it's about getting that new DC head.
Yeah,
that's the next ball to drop, and then
that's
a lot of information will come out then.
Yeah, that's the whole of the old regime gone then, and hope for the future.
Yeah, they really did clean house, and I think we talked about this earlier. They couldn't have come at a better time to really restructure and plan how they're going to go ahead with this.
Yeah, and it's got so much support as well with Ray Fisher's tweet about Tony Emmerich. Hopefully, that's the last we see of him. And Wayne T. Carr and Ray Porter commented underneath, like, we hate him too. That's right, though.
It's funny, Ray Fisher
written on the subway walls.
Every time somebody got fired, Ray Fisher tweet. Another one.
Yeah.
This is his sin, his public sin, and good riddance.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I cannot wait for that tweet.
Mine's been another one bites the dust on everyone.
When
boom. Another one bites the dust.
Who was the most direct person that Ray Fisher had a problem with? I mean, he had Jeff Johns problems, Emmerich, but it was Hamada. That's what Ray Fisher really.
That's the last piece.
Officially fired. I mean, he's going to be.
I'd like to be at that party with Ray Fisher. When
it's official. Oh my god! I'm gonna be looking at Ray Fisher's tweet like I'm on.
Yeah.
Come on, do something, baby.
Yeah, he's gonna say something. It's gonna be.
Like as soon as he tweets.
Yeah. I'll be. I'll be around for all of this.
I'll put David in there. We'll talk about that Ray Fisher tweet.
Yeah. It's gonna be something savage.
Champagne. Yeah.
And I mean, like these moments, after the dark times, we call them, in the Warner Brothers thing. It's been like with each event, it's been like winning a sport, so scoring a goal. It's just one after another. The fans are just one after another. It's been just everything is going our way, and the betas, as Mikey called them on the channel, the beta squad. They've been saying that we're all wrong all the time. It's just they've just been crushed.
They said Toby was safe.
They're still saying you're wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they don't even know. Yeah, they don't even know what to say. All they do now is wait till you release a new episode, and then they've got something to say. Because they're just like, what are we going to do except slag everyone off in the fandom and have a go at people?
I call that viewership. Like, I shout out to the betas that watches the channel, because they push the views up every week. So
that's right. Yeah. I won't be giving them the time of day now, so I can't be bothered with all that crap. But
it's funny. It's really funny.
Yeah, it's great. So if you want, for the audience, check out Still Abdul Inc., the Scoop Centre with Mikey Sutton, and Purple Valkyrie's channel, Rise and Shine with Purple Valkyrie. It's called that.
That's right. Yes, I'm slightly rebranding, so it's now Rise with Purple Valkyrie, but it's all the same channel. Yeah.
Rise with Purple Valkyrie and Seal Nation as well, your sister channel. I've been showing up there talking about Star Wars.
We know what channel Purple won't be on.
That's it.
No, but actually, that's not a bad idea. Get rid for it.
The channel. That's
Alternative point of view.
Me and Purple broke up live. Yeah.
I'm gonna get demonetized.
That sounds like a plan.
But yeah, the companion channel. I'm playing the YouTube algorithm game, right? So they see my main channel as a DC channel. Yeah. So anytime I try to put too much Marvel in it, they don't share it. YouTube is very weird. They don't share. A lot of stuff.
I've been learning so much about this from you guys, and so everyone's been so helpful.
I'm doing a companion channel where I can kind of do more deep dives and stuff that Purple don't like, and and we have good conversations over there with the second channel.
Deep dives, just not into Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's why you're on the main channel, bro. That's why you're the spotlight. Yeah. I gotta keep.
That's right.
Like you could have snuck this past me, like I wasn't noticing. It's like I'll show her. I'll talk Star Wars on my channel.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Pull a fast one on that.
I see you.
It's great. All this crossover business and madness with the community of people, so Seal Nation and the Mikey Verse, Savage Nation. It's just insane.
Nation.
Purple Nation.
Isn't that like some of the best chats, like Scoop Center? Like, it's some of the best people in that chat, David. Purple. Like,
yes, we have an amazing chat.
Nice mix. Like, Retro Nerd Girl has a great review channel. She's always there. Just so many great creators, man. It's like it's so fun to be.
Yeah, I spoke to Retro Nerd Girl as well in the chat, and she's going to come on and do.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. And also, I spoke to. This is upcoming stuff. The people that done the Project Justice League fundraiser.
Cool.
Yeah. AFSP. Yeah.
For AFSP. And got them coming on once we work out the time zones. As you know, still, this time zone thing is a nightmare.
But that's every week with Purple.
It's when it's like two different states in America, and then British time.
It's bad enough, yeah.
It's
when Mikey, across the country.
Yeah,
Purple's like,
I wake up in the morning, Sill's done a stream at like 4 a.m. It's like, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, that's how it goes. I'm so busy though, Purple.
Exactly, Mister. I'm gonna have to cut back on my live streams.
I'm totally cutting, man. I'm so slammed.
Excuse me while I go do a live stream.
Yeah. Well, I'll be getting you guys on for some live streams once I start doing it properly. I haven't even reached 1,000 subscribers yet, so I've still got that.
You'll be there in no time. Don't you worry about that.
You had some good videos. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying just because like I was in one of them, but you had a nice video.
He's totally saying that. Yeah.
That's Silgorithm. Like, hey, you should.
The Silgorithm. Yeah. I did notice that actually when I was looking on the video. It says also watched was. On your channel, also watched the Savage Battle. I was like, "Ooh, look, it's me!"
I'm just saying what's out there. I'm not, I'm not claiming it myself.
I too am extremely humble.
Totally, that's Purple. I don't hype myself.
Sales a cult leader, apparently. So,
yeah.
A cult leader.
I know.
That's my favourite one at the moment. That
really gets purple going. Yeah, the cult leader. That's
yeah. All this stuff's been brilliant.
If that makes you happy.
It's been just a brilliant time for the fans, really. Restore the SnyderVerse fans, and the people that really know about it and haven't got a sort of negative agenda about it and stuff like that. Everyone's kind of united together, and the betas have been left in the dust.
Everybody just want good DC, right?
Like, yeah, everyone wants the same thing.
Because like Purple, she's not this Snyder cultist, right? But she, she like Zack Snyder Justice League, I believe, right? Purple. So just good DC. That's all we want. It could be Zach, it could be Todd Phillips, Matt Reeves. It could be anyone else.
There you go.
But I'm just saying, like, we accept multiple people. It's gotta be good DC, except Matt Reeves.
Yeah, except Reeves.
You almost paid Matt Reeves a compliment. Almost did it.
We're gonna have
so mad about the Christopher Nolan comments.
Yeah, that's what took me off, forever. And the David Fincher comments too. Like I kind of got ticked off by that too. Fincher. No.
Insulation. Yeah. Fuck Matt Reeves. Yeah.
No, it's just, we wish you all the best in the future, Matt Reeves. Yeah. Oh, that's right.
But you're absolutely right. At the end of the day, we are comic book fans first and foremost. We love these characters. We just want great films, great entertainment, great TV shows, comics, games featuring them. That's all we ever wanted.
That's it, and it's great days ahead, hopefully, and I'm sure there's going to be a few stumbling blocks over the way, but it's looking great for comic fans.
Toby's gone, David, right? Make sure your viewers realize, like, Toby Emmerich is gone.
Emmerich has been fired,
like finally.
Yeah.
Right?
But they said he was just doing some soul searching. He's just been moved to the other side of the lot.
Soul searching.
Yeah.
Like I said on my channel, like
Yeah, but he used to play golf with Zednev.
Yeah, calling, right?
What the fuck's that got to do with anything? Zednev
when you see your boss interviewing someone that that's going for your job title, I'm gonna start soul searching. That's what I'm gonna start doing.
Yeah.
I see he's trying to bring in people publicly to take my job. All of a sudden he's soul searching, right? Toby's gone. Like the WB as a whole is gonna be better. I'm talking about not just DC, I'm talking about the MonsterVerse, Godzilla films, King Kong, Harry Potter films, like everything is going to be better now because Emmerich's gone.
Someone said a good one in the comments of Scoop Center yesterday. I can't remember who it was, but they said, imagine Hamada sitting in the dining hall of Warner Brothers on his own eating a cheese and pickle sandwich. If no one will sit with him.
They know his days are numbered. It's like, it's they say, he was there till they find a replacement. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah,
man. Start soul searching now? Is that what he's going to start doing?
And I've given up with the trolls about Hamada because, all these people are gone now. You've been saying it, I've been saying it, the fans have been saying it, and they're still like, oh, no, Hamada stays.
Right.
Oh, yeah, Razif. Come on. Get a grip. Restore the SnyderVerse is happening. You lost, motherfuckers. Get over it again.
Exactly. It's a wrap. And what does Restore SnyderVerse mean? It doesn't mean Zack's doing every DC property, right? Mm-hmm. Even Abrams going to get one or two.
Yeah.
Now they may fail and he'll be done, but I'm just saying, like, there's going to be multiple projects coming out. We just want Zack to finish his story, to do a proper Justice League film like we saw in the first one.
Yeah.
And do a second and third one. And then Zack can actually be done at that point, but he may do side projects, Black Label. That's literally all people. They just want a proper Justice League film. That's all.
Yeah, that's it. That's right. And if he decides to say be executive producer or even direct one of the Man of Steel solo movies and all that, that would be great. But I'm happy with that. But either way, though, it's like Nolan was kind of on Team Snyder. Maybe Snyder could be like Nolan was for someone else. And
interesting. Like pick another director to come in. Like Nolan picked Zack to do Man of Steel, right?
Yeah,
2013.
So, there you go. Yeah,
Zack could pick the next person. Like, okay, I'll EP it. Like, you can, do this next film.
It's so many talented directors.
Restore SnyderVerse again, because people get confused on social media. Like, we just want Zack to finish the story. Now, if he does do Man of Steel too, Mikey has strong feelings for some reason, right? Mikey has strong feelings that Zack's going to do another Superman film.
Yeah.
I've learned to trust Mikey's instincts on that. But we just want the Justice League sequels, and we're good. But Zack's
and the Batfleck
get more.
And the Batfleck movie. Movie.
Sounds like we're good with Batfleck. He could do that himself, or you can get like Gavin O'Connor or someone to do that. We're fine with that. But just restore SnyderVerse. Yeah, I mean, obviously Batfleck has to be back, and then we just want the Justice League film. And then, like I said, we're fine with Zack just being done after that. But like again, we're hearing he's doing more, which is just like a bonus.
I hope so, because it's Zack Snyder, motherfucker. I mean, speaks for himself.
That says it all.
That's
it. Savage Bat Channel. I tell
you. Do you know what? We've got, it's nearly an hour and 45 minutes and gone on way past where we were supposed to do.
My bad.
No, it wasn't that.
So that's Star Wars talk that did it.
I was having a good time to our show, though.
But it's been great, and this is it's just turned into a naturally great show for people. Really, I hope it should be good.
Oh, this is a blast! No,
this is great. It's been great fun.
They wanted us to collab together more, and
they do.
David, I build a Star Wars team that doesn't include purple. It's gonna have David and Trey from the Bat Channel.
He's building his own Star Wars Justice League. Not invited.
But we're gonna do. It's called Force Sensitive. It's a series that we're doing because it's gonna. Someone's feelings is gonna be hurt every stream that we do.
Yeah.
But we had a nice
unavoidable.
We had some nice stuff about Obi-Wan that we touched on. I'm looking forward to that right now. It'll be tentatively every Saturday until Obi-Wan's done, and then we'll kind of wait till more news comes up. So I'm looking forward.
Obi-Wan's done, trust me.
But me and Purple, we'll do more than just not Star Wars.
Yeah. But that's great. I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to all the DC stuff as well. And I'm available for any of that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get you on some DC stuff too, Debbie. I mean, I was planning on working with Trey. You see how wonderful he was on that last show we did, David. Right? Trey is awesome. I've been planning on something for like a year, and this really fits, what I want. And like with you, David, I mean, since you're like my brother from UK, according to Mike, we're gonna figure out some DC stuff. I mean, obviously some Snyder stuff. So just letting your viewers know, David, he's gonna be a big part going forward. With some Snyder stuff on my channel too. So stay tuned.
Thanks, that's great.
Stay tuned over here as well too. So
and we'll get Purple on as well to. Obviously.
Oh, some DC stuff, Just DC.
Just DC stuff. Oh, dear. Well, right, anyway.
Coffee still and take your own.
Yeah. Well, instead of, my tagline at the end of every episode is normally Batman out. But I think we'll have a special edition one. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Sir Abdul, for tuning in. Thank you, Purple Valkyrie, for giving me your time. And may the force be with you.
Always.
Damn it.
Batman out.